New Zealand's Milford Sound, among the most remote and inhospitable terrain on the planet. A region no glider has ever attempted to penetrate, until now. This is not glider territory. Little room to maneuver.
I think it's too choppy, Gavin.
Few places to land. And no way out save at the fickle whim of the wind.
Oh well, there's the wall. Again here.
This is the culmination of a journey that began a year earlier. The story of an extraordinary family tradition and a daughter's long journey into the invisible realm of the wind. Our story begins beyond the mountains. Pilot Gavin Wills is part of a gliding dynasty. His father, his cousins, his uncle have all devoted their lives to the air. But his teenage daughter Lucy has never tried it. Today, he hopes to pass on the mantle, to awaken in Lucy a thirst for the freedom of the sky.
Closed.
So you watch the rope coming tight there? And there it comes tight, and he starts pulling us away.
It's quite spinny, eh? Hey, we're off.
We're in the air. Look out the wings.
Oh, wow.
So we have to follow the plane around for quite a while until he gets us up high enough, and then we can release and we're on our own.
So you still have to control.
Yep, I'm flying it, so
So he's just there for pull.
he's just there to pull, and I'm flying in formation behind him. That's all that's happening. Okay, well, we're going to release now, so I'm going to pull the bung. You watch the rope go away. We'll turn right as the aeroplane turns left. Here we go now.
Since time began, the prospect of slipping our earthly bonds and soaring with the birds has gripped human imagination like nothing else.
See the shadow on the ground?
Yeah.
For all our technology and achievements, the dream of wandering free on the unseen currents of the wind still holds an almost irresistible allure.
Look at that cloud. That's all right.
For Gavin Wills, flying in the mountains is second nature, developed through a lifetime as a mountain guide and alpine pilot. But it's gliding that ignites his greatest passion, a passion that he hopes to pass on to his daughter.
Fly around the corner. So what do you reckon?
Can I actually do this?
Lucy has been around aircraft all her life, but nothing has prepared her for this.
It's just such a completely foreign experience. Even though you know that you're going to stay up there because you've been told that you're going to stay up there, it still feels unnatural.
Was that fun?
That was fun. We did it again.
You want to do it again?
Yeah.
Okay, you'll be ready for it this time.
Yeah. my god. Don't worry me. Oh, something's happened to my ears.
Hold your nose and blow. Yep.
Better.
That better, yeah.
Worth it though.
See where the airfield is?
Yeah.
And here we come in to make a landing, hopefully.
I knew I was safe. I had complete confidence in my dad's flying ability. And I always know that he'll never push the limits too far. He always knows where to stop. I was thinking, I don't feel like I can do this, but if he says I can do it and he'll teach me how to do it, then I'd absolutely love to learn how to fly.
For another generation of the Wills family, the journey into flight is about to begin. The South Island of New Zealand is one of the world's gliding meccas. And a local gliding club is their first call, as they track down an old friend of Gavin's.
How you doing? How are you? Pretty good, yeah. You didn't know I'd be here. He's our president. I'm the president. I'm the only one here that matters.
As a standard precaution, senior instructor George Menlove will oversee the training process.
George Menlove, instructor.
Yeah.
Darren, who's also just learning to fly. But it's going to be a bit different for you because your old man's going to teach you to fly. So
It's actually going to be quite an interesting experience, remembering whether I'm dad or whether I'm instructor. I'll be teaching you the basics, but it's good to have someone else hop in with you to say, yes, she's ready for solo. No.
The club is just a part of the broader gliding tradition built on the extraordinary local conditions. It's that tradition in which Lucy's family has claimed a central place. Her uncle, Justin Wills, is a leading member of the British national gliding team. But such are the gliding conditions here, he has made this region his permanent base, setting up home at nearby Irishman's Creek Homestead and continuing an association with this area that began with his father, English gliding pioneer Philip Wills. Lucy's great-uncle Philip is generally credited with being one of the key founders of the modern sport. In 1932, he obtained one of the first gliders developed. It would spark a deep passion for exploring the hitherto unknown reaches of the sky. For the next 40 years, in a succession of now crude and clumsy-looking craft, he would relentlessly push the boundaries of unpowered flight around the world and establish a flying dynasty that would remain at the forefront of the new sport as it evolved into the highly sophisticated art it is today.
Hi, Will. How was that?
Hi.
All right?
Good.
Good flight?
Interesting.
Look what we've got here.
Gavin,
Hello.
how are you?
How are you?
So they tell me you're learning to fly, Lucy.
Yeah,
Right.
learning's the word.
Are you enjoying it?
Oh yeah.
That's the only thing that matters.
You'll get hooked.
Yes, you'll be the third generation to get hooked unless you're careful.
Lucy's already hooked. But flying in a glider and flying a glider are not the same thing.
Point to the altimeter.
That one.
No.
That one.
Yep. What speed are we going at?
So we're going at 65 knots.
That's correct. Point to the variometer. Yep.
Oh, I see.
Okay, that's the vertical speed that the glider's going up and down. Okay. Now, you watch as I push the stick forward.
Do I keep my eye on the horizon?
Yeah, no, just Tell me what happened when I put the stick forward.
Well, we went down.
The nose went down,
Yeah.
and the horizon got higher on the canopy, didn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Okay. And what happens when the stick comes back?
Nose went up and the horizon disappeared.
And what happens to the sound?
Oh, it's quieter.
It gets quieter, didn't it? Why did it get quieter?
So we decrease the speed. So you use that. You use the sound rather than the instruments.
The attitude is the first most important thing, the sound is the second, and the instrument is third.
And then, the moment of truth.
Okay, Lucy, I want you to put both your hands and feet on the controls. Okay, you got that? Find your spot on the horizon, mark the horizon.
Can you help me with that?
Yep. And you have control.
Yeah.
Keep the wings level. That's good. Remember what I was saying about stick and rudder together. So remember when the stick goes to left, left rudder, left stick, left rudder, right stick, right rudder. Okay, stick and rudder to the right, and you'll do a turn to the right. Stick,
way?
yep. That's the right. Stick and rudder to the right. Center, yep, that's good. And let it keep going all the way around. All the way around. Let's keep it going around. All the way around and straighten up. Now, stick it right way out to the left. That's good. Straighten up. Center the stick. That's it. That's good. That's very good.
This area is made to order for exploring the three major forms of rising air at the heart of gliding. Lucy is quick to identify the first, the current of air sweeping up a hillside.
Bridge lift.
Yep. Bridge lovely stuff to fly. Usually pretty smooth and just takes you steadily up towards the top of the hill.
Like riding a bicycle without pedals, a glider depends on coasting constantly downwards through the air. Staying above the ground means finding rising air to regain height. Over the valleys, a pilot has to rely on hotspots that send up bubbles of warm air in invisible columns known as thermals.
There's the bump, there's the thermal. Feel it?
Ultimately, unraveling the subtle interplay between land and air is the key that will unlock the heavens.
Quite narrow chord. I'm going to have to keep a fairly steep bank on to keep it going in it. Quite narrow.
Tiny polymer there.
Yeah, but it'll get broader and smoother as we get up.
Go up like that.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly right.
The third form of lift is hidden higher in the skies, a force regarded by glider pilots as offering the ultimate gliding experience. It's a phenomenon known as wave. Fortunately for Lucy, she can turn to another local flyer who's an acknowledged wave master, Ray Linsky, the 1995 World Gliding Champion. Linsky became the first person to soar 2,000 kilometers, riding the wave over the Southern Alps.
In order to understand how the wave works, you're better to think of water in a river flowing over a rock. If you can imagine the water comes down the stream, over the rock and down the other side,
Yep.
and it just keeps bouncing really downstream. And those waves are the same things as what happens in the atmosphere, where the air comes in across the mountain, up the windward side, over the top and down the other side, and then it continues to bounce downstream, downwind. And that is what the wave is. It's the undulations in the atmosphere that we use to soar. It's one type of lift that we use in gliders.
So you obviously have a certain
you lose
amount of
altitude.
skill to find the bit that's going up. How,
To recognise it.
How do you recognise the bit, the air that's going up?
Often it's marked by clouds. If you look out here, you can see the flat sort of gently curving clouds, that's actually marking the top of a wave with what we call a lenticular cloud. But you often get these ragged cumulus-type clouds below the wave, which mark the rotor, the rough areas. But as soon as you get above that turbulence, the wave is perfectly smooth, beautiful. It's just like silk. You can fly along at high speed, gaining altitude or maintaining altitude, and
You're
go
really
for
just
long distances.
You're just surfing along the front of one of those.
You can
waves.
use the analogy of surfing waves, and it's very accurate. You're literally surfing along atmospheric waves.
The potency of the wave over the Southern Alps was brought to major international attention in 1954 during a visit to Irishman's Creek by Lucy's great-uncle, Philip. Encouraged by a young local flyer named Dick Georgeson, the visitors set out to explore the unusual local conditions. Philip Wills was at the time world champion himself, but that hadn't prepared him for what he was about to encounter.
I think the circumstances overtook him really, because he thought he was going for a local fly. And just before he got in, Helen said, "You better take the barograph, you know, it might be a good day, there's a bit of westerly about." So he took the barograph, shoved it in behind his parachute, shut the lid, and he was winch launched onto Simon's Hill.
Instead of a quiet local flight, it would become the ride of a lifetime.
From the winch launch he caught a thermal, and from the thermal he went into wave, and he immediately worked his way up toward Mount Cook.
At almost 4,000 metres, Mount Cook is the highest and steepest point on the Southern Alps. Philip Wills headed for it, wondering whether its extreme height would generate stronger wave. It did.
Well, then he had a magnificent flight.
The wave carried him to an unprecedented altitude. For hour after hour, he would soar in a silk-smooth airstream high above the alpine backbone. By the time he returned, he would have reached an altitude of 32,000 feet and established a new British Empire record.
About 3 hours later, he came back, a very cold man indeed, and handed us the barograph and said, "You now have to be the official observer," which I was, and make sure that the documentation is right. He said, "I've broken the record." But he was only in shirt sleeves. And of course, he was really very lucky he didn't get severe frostbite or get severe hypothermia.
But that night, hypothermia was the last thing on anyone's mind.
That actually launched New Zealand, I think, as a possible, or brought it to the eye of glider pilots around the world that New Zealand was a country which had potential, and a very interesting type of potential, because that flight got published in the Illustrated London News, and so many people saw it.
From that moment on, Mount Cook and its surroundings became central to the lives of the Wills family. Now, 2 generations later, the legendary family stories are only too familiar, as Lucy seeks her own path into the invisible realm. A testing time for the relationship of father and daughter.
Stay in behind the airplane. Off the ground, yeah. And that's all we have to do really, is follow him around the sky as he drags us up. Using the rudders, every movement needs a rudder control. So you've got to turn it left,
Yep.
and then before you get there, you straighten it up.
Yep.
And when you come straight, lo and behold, you're in behind.
Yep.
Okay, do a right turn, get behind them, stay behind them. Do a right turn, get
I
behind them.
have. I've done millions of right turns. Can you
I got it.
get it?
And roll to the point behind the topo.
Who's this loopy person? Can't even keep the wings straight. I keep drifting there.
Yeah, that's good. Excellent. That's good, huh?
Dad, you... Oh, no, I've got it. No, you have control.
Not using the rudders, that's why the
I
nose...
am using the
You
rudder.
are not using the rudders. Be very sensitive to the wings level. no.
I have no peripheral vision.
It's not too much though. Just, okay, just.
Dad,
I got
do you
it.
want it?
Yeah. Yeah. You do the release. Whoa.
What?
You want to watch the tow rope when you actually release. But if the rope broke close to the ground, you'd need to land in one of those fields close to the ground. Oh, the rope broke. We've got to start heading for home. See the airfield?
I thought we should be going into wind.
Left-hand turn,
Going left.
full brake.
Landing is another crisis point for the fledgling glider pilot.
Is it enough?
Yeah.
Put it back again?
Yeah.
In a plane with no engine, you get just one shot. There's no turning back.
Whoa!
Keep that nose down. You want to be not getting it too high. Yeah, just ease the brakes in a fraction. Oh, no, you're a bit high.
60 knots too fast?
Just keep it in there all the way down to the ground.
What now? What now?
Just keep it going. The brakes out a tad, just a tiny bit, and brakes out.
Now.
And brake. Ground out, come back. Not too much. Oh.
Sorry about that.
Zoom along the ground. Keep it wings level. Straight with rudder.
That better?
Yeah, that was pretty good. Good one.
The round out was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, round out was excellent. Okay.
I thought it was quite a good landing, if I must say so myself.
Okey-doke.
But for all the challenges of learning, the climax is still to come. If Lucy's newfound expertise is confirmed by George Menlove, it'll be time to go solo.
Your straps tighten,
Yes.
flaps, undercarriage, brake. Line my Fosca downwind for 1 zip. Sorry, I forgot to say Tiana traffic.
Just get over the middle. Down there. Just keep steering for them.
It's been 3 long months since Lucy first took the controls. She's come a long way. But tomorrow promises perhaps the most testing time for both father and daughter. The challenge of taking the glider up alone and without a father's steadying hand in the background.
Get everything else sorted out, you know what you're doing.
I hope so.
Yep. Thank you.
It doesn't matter how many times I'd been up there with someone. Going up there by myself was going to be completely different. I was trying to deny this feeling, but I think I was absolutely terrified.
I'll leave you in charge of doing the back anything.
Yep, I'll suppose that.
You sure you don't want to come with me just once more?
What do you want me for?
Just say watch that speed. Around Henry Ford. Now, that lock.
That Kennedy's closed and locked. The little door's shut. All the straps are done up in the bag. Good luck. If she can do the landing as well as the takeoff, she'll be doing fine.
For Gavin, it's as anxious as her first steps. Her first day at school. But this time, he won't be there if she stumbles.
You send her away, George. I'm happy. I think.
Once I got to that stage that the lid was closed and I was committed to going, I gave up being terrified and just decided that I'd better just deal with it. Actually pulled the bung a little earlier than I might normally have. Once you've done it, that's it, total commitment, and I just went, oh my god. There wasn't much time to kind of enjoy it.
Traffic light, Mike Oscar downwind for 16.
Whatever the pressures in the air, it's nothing compared to the challenge of returning safely to Earth.
Landing is focusing on this tiny little point way down below you and somehow trying to work out all the spatial dimensions to end up at the right place at the right time on this little airfield.
A bit exciting.
Exciting, but the test is passed. Lucy is now a pilot.
Well.
Sorry about the bumps, just nerves. I was just trying to land. I just thought I'd land here just for you.
Did you? Oh, well, why, thank you. We didn't have to run anywhere.
Oh, that's
well,
cool. Come and do
well,
that.
nothing to it, is there?
No. There's quite a lot to it, actually. But
But Gavin knows it's one thing to be a pilot, another to know the passion of gliding. Tomorrow, he and Lucy will again take to the skies for the flight of a lifetime. This is one of the most spectacular flying environments in the world.
So that's Mount Cook up there. That's a real flying day, Luce. What do you think?
not bad.
With Justin in a second glider, they are searching for the quintessential cross-country flight, from the country's highest peak to its wildest corner, a remote fjord called Milford Sound. They'll hunt the lower flanks of Mount Cook for its volatile thermals. This is the first of several invisible staircases of rising air they'll need to carry them to their eventual goal. Once near the top, forecast winds should carry them high above the peaks to where they can soar south along the ridges. The wind currents over the snow and ice-packed valleys provide a markedly different environment to the foothills.
Oh, so don't throw up.
Are you feeling right?
Got any sick bags?
It's quite a foreign place for a glider to be, especially when I spent most of my training flying around green fields and tussocks.
Gavin, I've got 6 knots here over the Mueller. Roger, thanks.
With just one person on board, Justin's glider is lighter. He can consistently climb faster and higher than Gavin and Lucy. It won't be a case of simply following the leader. The veteran pilots are in their element here, but the sheer scale of the landscape adds an extra dimension to the disciplines of gliding.
The winds around the mountain felt very strong and very changeable, and it felt like if it didn't like you hanging around up there, it would make things difficult for you.
Oh look, there's 2 climbers down there.
Whereabouts? On the left?
Obviously on the mountainside. See this cliff we're coming towards? Just on the outside.
It's left to the right of the glider.
Basically straight ahead of you.
I see them. 2 climbers, they're just coming up to the crevasse there.
Yep.
We'll go and stir them up. See the climbers?
Yep.
Give them away.
After 2 hours, they're now close to the first objective on their journey, a mid-air rendezvous at Cook's Summit Ridge. The boost from the summit's ridge will launch them into the second leg of their airborne odyssey.
I felt in this tiny little bubble up 12,000 feet around this incredibly awe-inspiring mountain was just too much. It was amazing. I really felt the power of the mountain, and I really felt like it had a presence. I felt very privileged to be up there.
They've risen to 12,000 feet, and from here should have an easy and fast run down to the thermals streaming off the ridges of the Alps. The trio plan to attempt a gliding first, a flight right into the legendary and remote Milford Sound. But it means flying the length of the Southern Alps, and then finding a path that takes them directly across the country's main divide. It'll take them well beyond any normal gliding environment, to the far edge of the pilot's capabilities, but it promises a unique voyage across some of the wildest landscapes in the world.
Gavin from Justin, I'm approaching Lake Harwinna.
It's set to be a long day, especially for Justin, who goes into the first of numerous holding patterns, while Gavin and Lucy catch up.
Can we just do a loop here?
Yeah, sure. Why
Oh,
not?
sure. Right over the top.
Eventually, the wanderers also find their way to the southern lake.
So I guess this is Lake Hawea. So what way's the wind blowing on the lake?
Up it.
It's blowing up it, right. So we've got a southerly in there. It means you've got to be pretty careful crossing over to the other side there.
So what's the problem with the southerly?
When it comes up the lake like that, it makes the valleys all cold. So the thermal stop in the middle of the valley.
The cold southerly wind could dash their hopes of finding enough lift to cross the main divide. They'll need to stay high on the ridges and out of the valleys. Justin elects to head for a southern ridgeline, while in the heavier glider, Gavin goes north. But things don't go quite as planned.
Getting a bit low, Dad.
I know. I've got a feeling that I'm going to... What I should have done, I made a mistake up there. I should have gone low up that wee gully and got that climb under the cloud there.
They're less than 2,000 feet above the valley floor. They'll need to find height somewhere if they're to catch Justin again.
Justin from Gavin, we're approaching the Rob Roy.
What was that story you were telling me?
Yeah, Liz, this is the Rob Roy Glacier. I got stuck up here Christmas Eve quite a few years ago in the air, and I didn't think I was going to get back for Christmas, so you imagine the stripe was it. I managed to come up into this little valley and got a thermal from the very base of it and climbed up between the glacier and the rock wall on the other side.
It's quite a spectacular spot.
It's a incredible spot.
Well, I'm glad you got home on Christmas Eve, Dad, because I might have missed out on Santa Claus otherwise.
You would have.
And again, the great rock cliff beside the glacier throws up a thermal that will save the day, lifting them 2,000 feet skyward.
Justin, we're 2 Ks behind. Roger, Gavin.
The team is reunited, and the flight is back on plan. They're into the Dart River Valley and nearing their turning point. But overall, they've been dropping since leaving Mount Cook. They're now only 4,000 feet above sea level and barely 1,500 above the valley floor. To get into Milford, they'll need to find another aerial staircase. Their best bet is to try for Mount Earnslaw, where high black ridges should be generating heat and creating thermals. It should give them the lift they need to carry them over the main divide and penetrate deep into Fiordland. They need all the height they can muster here to get safely within striking distance. A good breeze lifting off the ridges, and they'll be on their way. And they're in luck.
That's it.
The ridges have thrust them back to 8,000 feet and opened the way to their last objective.
And the thermal stretch are all the way down the Southern Alps here, almost to Milford.
I'm not sure I like that almost part, Dan.
I think they'll be all the way to Milford. I think we'll get into there all right. The whole question is whether we're going to get out.
No.
But time will tell.
But even to get in, they must find a path beyond the ragged array of ice and rock ahead. And once out to the coast, there'll be no thermals.
The country seems to get wilder and wilder the further south we go.
That's where it happens, is in the south.
Without thermals, Gavin and Justin are gambling on a sea breeze in the fjord to get them back out.
This is Glider Victor, Quebec. We're Lake Adelaide and 7,000 feet. What's your wind?
Glider Golf Victor, Quebec, Milford, runway 29, wind 310 to max 19 knots.
Enough, if only just.
Justin from Gavin.
Sea breeze about 15 knots down here.
Okay, I'm starting my run-in. Milford traffic glider number 1 is approaching the Gertrude Saddle from the Homer Road.
From here, there is no going back. They've crossed the frontier.
Turning right. Catch contact.
This is no gliding country.
Okay, Gavin, we'll go on down.
Let's stay in formation.
No broad sun-baked valleys. Nowhere to land. Few alternatives.
Nobody's ever actually soared along these ridges before either.
But I blame them. They don't look too friendly.
Ideally, to reach their objective, they need one more ridge throwing up lift to get them through the final mountain passes to the heart of the fjord.
Okay, this corner might work.
Crack some brake for me.
This is gliding at its ultimate. In the hidden valleys, the air currents are fickle, unpredictable. The glacial valleys often narrow, abrupt. The way ahead seldom clear until the last moment. There is one last pass to clear, if they can find enough height.
What's this like? Oh, by Mary.
This is like Pearl.
There is no lift. They'll have to opt for the narrow opening beyond the lake.
Turning left. Speeding up.
And you're going up to, 80, 100 knots, and the wings start to sort of shudder a little bit. It starts to get pretty terrifying.
And they're in.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow.
Well, we made
height, you can arrive at Milford Land.
Oh, lots of height. Turning left.
Roger.
I'm with you.
It is a first. They have brought powerless gliders into one of the most inhospitable, but one of the most dramatic landscapes in the world.
Okay.
Even going into Fiordland in a bus is quite a really special experience. It's like a completely different area of New Zealand that's kind of cut off from the rest of the country. Going in there in a glider was really, it was that same feeling, except even more strange because you're looking down.
Oh, this is amazing.
And then, there is their final objective. The Sound itself.
Turning left.
Roger.
Interesting lift here. We're just about into the sea breeze effect now, tailwind of 13 knots.
Roger.
The long descent is over. They're now dependent on the sea breeze lifting them enough to get back out over the sheer rock wall. In a slow circling dance over the fjord, they'll spiral skyward, reclaiming height, little by little. By the time the dance ends, they need to be poised for the escape.
Gavin, time to head for home.
Roger, I'm coming in now.
It's going to be touch and go. There's nothing to spare. And Gavin and Lucy's glider is heavier than Justin's. Too heavy.
Justin and Gavin, we're not going to make it across the cliff. We're turning away now.
Gavin, I just switched over. That should be okay now.
Not too close, Dad.
That's all right. We're clear. Good luck, Justin. We'll try for the sea cliffs. See you in Tiana.
They have taunted the landscape just too far.
Well, we've got to get out the sound here and around the corner to the sea cliffs.
They can only hope the breeze outside the fjord will take them over lower passes further up the coast.
Not very many friendly places to land.
But first they have to get there.
As long as the sea breeze works, we'll be okay.
While the sea breeze rebounding off the fjord walls is creating lift, its pattern is unfamiliar to Lucy.
I didn't really understand what was going on. I had no idea it was around the corner.
Guess we're not going down anymore.
Oh, and look at the wind blowing up there. It'll be around the next corner will be better. The sea breeze is coming in well. See little patches of cloud around the hill there? Looking for the, there it is, look.
Oh my gosh!
They've reached the fjord mouth.
How'd you know that'd be there?
With the breeze still blowing, there's only one step to go.
Milford Radio, glider Victor Quebec.
Victor Quebec, go ahead.
Yeah, Victor Quebec, we're at Dale Point exiting the sound at 4,000 feet. Well, here we go, Lewis. This is it. Out over the sea.
I felt very vulnerable because the ocean is no place for a glider. You can't cruise out over the ocean for any length of time.
As they head up the coast, the sea breeze begins to die. They're losing height rather than gaining it. There is now only one safe option open to them.
I think we're going to have to make it into the beach there.
Beach?
Yeah, the beach.
This, perhaps, is gliding's ultimate attraction. The challenge of facing the invisible and the constantly changing that makes every flight a voyage into the unknown.
You can almost catch a wave. Don't hit any birds. Nicely done, Dan.
I might need you with some brake.
Standing by.
Well, I think we did it.
Down. And nothing for it but to wait for the tow Justin will send back. But for now, the cycle is complete.
I would love to be able to teach my children how to fly. I think it would be a really amazing gift to be able to keep passing on through the family.
Lucy Wills, glider pilot, wind-born adventurer.